Okay. I think that worked. I think that worked. All right, Ryan, Brandon, USN Carson, welcome. I'm going to give time for some people to gather before I start talking about Wilson. But yeah, this stream is going to be about the Wilson stuff because I know people want to talk about it. So I decided I'd set some time aside. Hello, Bug, to talk about it. Okay. I'm not sure, but I think NorbCam just went live. So some of my viewers may be watching NorbCam. No, it looks like NorbCam just finished. All right. Okay, we got 9 people. Can people hear me pretty well? How's the audio? All right. All right, we got 10 people in here. I know a few others are going to come in as we start, so let's go ahead and get underway. Good evening, everybody. I know this is kind of old news at this point because we heard about this yesterday morning, I guess. So everybody kind of knows what's going on and everybody's kind of developed their own thoughts on it by now. But basically, we have a situation on hand. And for the first time since this thing started, I actually think it might be really serious. I'm not somebody who likes to buy into all the rumors, buy into all the hype, and just say, hey, this stuff you're hearing from beat reporters who are trying to get clicks, you should believe it. You know, I don't. However, we've learned a couple things in the last 48 hours. Number one, Wilson stormed out of a meeting between him and the coaches and I think some of the other players. I'm not 100% sure. But it was him and the coaches where he was trying to suggest things the offense should do, and his suggestions were being ignored. And then he stormed out of that meeting. I think this was after we lost to the Rams in week 9. We learned about that, which was, dramatic, but I didn't necessarily believe it was that important. But now, apparently, as of yesterday, Wilson has said, I don't want to be traded, but here's a list of teams that I want to be traded to if you trade me. And I think we all understand, or at least most of us do, that when you start saying things like that, it means you are either wanting to get traded or you are very close to wanting to get traded. So we now officially have a disgruntled player. We now officially have a player who is unhappy. We now officially have a player who would not mind being let go somewhere else. Maybe he doesn't want to go, but he would be okay with going. Hey, Dumbo. So we have to talk about it and we have to take it seriously. I was of the belief that this situation was just, trying to waste people's time. Until yesterday, I firmly believed that this was just stuff that people talk about in the off season because they got nothing better to do. But now I have to at least take it somewhat seriously. Now, I want to be very clear on something. I don't think anything's going to happen still. It's a lot to ask because you guys need to remember we have no first round pick in 2022. So tanking is not an option. You cannot tank in 2021 for a good draft pick in 2022 because you don't have that pick. So if you trade him, you're going to be eating a $40 million cap hit that is going to make it very hard for you to compete in 2021, meaning you basically are punting on that season. However, punting on that season is, like I said, not a good option. So I believe for those reasons, there's no Wilson trade out there. Even if the two sides hate each other, I don't think anything's going to happen this year. And a lot of people in my comments are talking about Pete Carroll. Look, I'd love to get Pete out of here. I would. I really would. I don't believe it's going to happen this offseason. I can't make videos right now, Andrew. All my videos look like shit because I don't have my setup. Give me time. Of course, this had to happen when I don't have my setup. So, look, I think the most likely scenario is that Wilson remains a Seahawk, plays for the Seahawks in 2021, and we go from there. After 2021, maybe we can have a conversation. Maybe we can say, hey, if things don't work out in 2021, maybe it's time. But I really don't think anything's going to happen this offseason. That being said, it's worth discussing. So, Ghost, there's validity to that, but these are professionals. They get over stuff like this and they find a way to work together. So anyway, there are 4 teams that Wilson would be okay with being traded to. And it's a weird list, I think. It doesn't make a lot of sense to me, but that's his list. Aaron, I don't think they'll be very happy, but Aaron, I don't think they'll be very happy, but I think they'll deal with it if they need to. Yeah, Andrew, that's the worst idea I've ever heard. Zeke has negative value right now. Zeke has negative value, and I like Dak, but he just broke his ankle. Seahawks analysis, she better not. Yeah, I suspect that too, Andrew. So anyway, those 4 teams, let's talk about that for a second. What would a trade look like? Because I have to believe that in any Wilson trade, you're going to get at least 3 first-round picks, but you need more. And I don't think teams are necessarily going to be eager to give up more in terms of picks. So what are some young, good players you could get from those teams? Like the Raiders. What are some good young players on that team? You could obviously throw Derek Carr in, but that's not that exciting. So what else you got? You got Henry Ruggs, but they probably wouldn't trade him. Josh Jacobs, not bad. Darren Waller, I like Darren Waller well enough. Mm-hmm. Okay, Aaron, you're close. That's not awful. I'm not the biggest fan of Derek Carr, but he's not a bad QB. Okay, so what can you get from the Cowboys? They don't have a lot of young talent that interests me. Byron Jones? I don't know, not Byron Jones. Diggs. Yeah, Diggs is pretty good. That's really about it. That team doesn't have a ton of young talent. Bears? I don't see nothing with the Bears. I don't see nothing with the Bears except maybe Akeem Hicks. Why would... No, not Trubisky. Trubisky's not under contract. Kyle Fuller? Okay, that's not bad, although he's expensive too. And finally, we can talk about the Saints. The Saints, they don't really have that much that I like, and their horrible cap situation makes this hell for us to figure out. But they do have Michael Thomas. Oh, Michael, that's easy. I'd much rather have Russ here and Pete gone. Ryguy, thank you for the $5. The issue with Seattle is we're not a big market town, the immediate area, but it's definitely not a small market. I don't think that's the issue. I don't think that's why this is happening. Andrews, Pete, Ryan Ramsick, that's not bad. So it's hard to construct a logical trade, I think. You need to go to one of these teams and be like, hey, we need like 5 first-round picks. And then they'd probably say no. And then you'd be like, well, then we don't have much to talk about, unfortunately. Lattimore is a man corner, and we play zone, so I don't know how well that works. Michael, Miami was not on Wilson's list. I don't want Kamara. Kamara is just hitting the point in his career where he's probably going to be washed. Larry, I don't know why it would. Oh, okay, David. That's interesting. Ryguy, thank you for the $5. I'm just saying Russ only wants to get traded to a market bigger than us. It's a punch in the gut, you know. Yeah, that's true. That's very true. No, Andrew, I think she cares about the team performance, but she doesn't know enough about football to understand what's happening in front of her. Yeah, why does he want to go to the Saints, by the way? That team is screwed. They have no money ever. They're not going to have money until, like, the 30th century. I'm not happy with it, Tom. No. Why does he want to go to the Bears, by the way? The Bears. He'd have nothing to work with unless they re-sign A-Rob. Hey, Corey. Okay, so the only way we can get a ton of first-round picks would be if we got another team involved, so that sucks. That's another reason why I don't think a trade is going to happen, guys. That's another reason why I don't think it's going to happen. It's too hard to get a trade together. It's really hard to construct a trade that makes sense enough. This is, as Burt Reynolds once said, this is not a hole in the wall. This is roller girl. Hey, Ben. I mean, God damn it. A few months ago, I would have loved it. Loved to see Wilson try to take control of the team and force Pete out. A few months ago, I would have been nuts. But after what happened in the last half of the season, I can't do that because the defense started to play better and Wilson started to kind of suck, and it's not the same now. How can he act like he should be the one in charge of everything on this team when he wasn't even doing his job well at the end of last year? Like I can honestly say Pete did a decent chunk of his job last year. He fixed the defense. By week 10, the defense was playing pretty good. Hey, Y2K, welcome. It's not that Russ only cares about money. It's that he cares about money more than anything else. And I don't actually really have a problem with that. I don't think that's bad. But when it comes attached with all this other BS, then I start to have a problem. Hello, Amy. Yeah, David, that's another reason why I don't think this is going to happen. Colin, I don't know. Honestly, however, as much as we want. What can save this situation? Things going well in 2021. Because I still don't think he's going to get traded. I really don't. That's not bad, Brendon. That's not a bad idea, Brendon. Yeah, that's true. Absolutely, Andrew. But again, Wilson has something to do with that. Juan, he will waive the no trade clause if he gets a trade that he likes. That's how this works. All right, we got 45 people in the stream right now. 45. Thank you for coming out tonight. Please like the stream if you haven't yet. If you're new to the channel and you want daily Seahawks content, please subscribe. Think about becoming a member by clicking the join button down below if you haven't as well. $2 a month. And if you have a comment that you really want to be read on stream and addressed, and you want to guarantee that, you can super chat it. Otherwise, hopefully I'll be able to address your comment anyway. Yeah, Corey, membership is $2 a month. Click the join button down below the video and it'll show you the pricing. There's a $5 a month option that gets you a couple extra perks, but $2 a month is yeah. Best case scenario with a trade would be you somehow, some way get Deshaun Watson. But I don't know how that's going to work. It seems like Houston's digging in their heels. Hey, Pete Carroll's gum. Hey, Juan Rodriguez. Yeah, guys. I see a lot of people saying fire Pete Carroll. I would love to. Believe me, I would love to. But it's not going to happen this season. We need to have an actual bad season before we fire Carroll. Larry, Dak just broke his ankle, so I wouldn't bet on him right now. Oh, no, Austin, we can do that. I mean, and, I want to fire Pete, of course. I want to move on from Pete. I want to do something different there. I'm very, very adamant about that. However, I can honestly say that he did his job last year for the most part. I don't know if I can say the same about Wilson. The way the defense played at the end of the season for the Seahawks was pretty good. Good enough to win, and the offense just couldn't get it done. Colin, I don't think Wentz has it anymore. Larry, I don't know that much about Trey Lance. The only rookie QB who I'm excited about is Lawrence, and we all know Lawrence is going to Jacksonville. Yeah, Corey, I think that was after he started playing bad, though, and maybe that had something to do with it. Look, I'm torn. On the one hand, I honestly think Pete is not a very good coach. I do, and I want to move on from him. On the other hand, I don't think I don't think it's good for a player to feel like they should have that power and throw a fit because they don't get to dictate what the coaches do. Players play, coaches coach, owners own. So I'm still a little conflicted there. I don't think Pete knows what he's doing on a lot of this stuff. I don't. But I also think that a player should be most of the time willing to do whatever the coaches tell him to do. Yeah, exactly, Andrew. Like LeBron, I kind of get it. LeBron might be the greatest basketball player of all time. LeBron might be the GOAT. For him, you make special concessions. And I'll give you this, Wilson's one of the best players in the league, or at least he can be. So maybe you want to concede to him every now and then, but you don't want to assume that he knows anything about how to build a team. You don't. I mean, the players are always going to try to amass as much talent as possible, even if it doesn't make sense. Now, obviously, not signing AB last year doesn't look great for us, but, apparently Wilson really wanted AB. If we bring in AB, would that have blown up on us? I mean, would that have left us looking even stupider than we are right now? I don't know, but I can see how a guy like Wilson looks at a player like AB and is like, "Ooh, gimme, 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 gimme." But coaches in the front office need to look at something like that and be a little more objective and be like, well, yeah, he's good, but is he an idiot? Yes. Do we have the right offensive system to utilize him enough to keep him happy? Probably not. So we're not going to do this. And even though I kind of wanted AB, I understand that. I understand that. Corey, are you on mobile? If you're on mobile, then I think you have to close chat and the join button will be right there. Well, Ryguy, Pete is the coach. And even if I think he's bad, and I do think Pete is bad, or at the very least, Pete does a lot of things that hold his team back. He's still the coach, and you do have to let him do things his own way. I understand that, and I respect that. And that's why I'm so torn on this, because I don't think Pete's good, or at least not anymore. I think the game has passed him by, but I also don't think a player should be acting as if he can control this stuff. Hey, Daniel. But yeah, that's really all I can say about the Wilson stuff. I'm still a little conflicted. I don't think anything's going to happen, though, so I'm not going to let it bother me too much. If I believe, and I truly do, that Wilson will not get traded this offseason. Larry Bird, welcome to membership, buddy. Thank you. Appreciate it. Welcome to the membership team. I will shout you out in the next video I record. It will be a couple weeks, though, because I can't record any videos right now because my computer is being transitioned. Yeah, I don't think the Russ trade is in the cards. I'm open to it. I would not automatically hate it if he did become our coach. I'm sorry, if he did get traded. Oh, by the way, Corey, try this link then. I'm going to post a link in this chat. Try it. Yeah, Andrew, maybe this is just Wilson's way of making sure that the team does good stuff in free agency. Maybe this is just his way. It could be, Brandon. It could be. That's absolutely fair. That's a fair suspicion. I'm doing okay, Daniel. Yeah. But for my money, if nothing happens with Wilson this offseason, then all this time we spend sitting around freaking out about it, it's kind of sort of time wasted. So, yeah, this is serious enough to discuss, but let's not go crazy with it, people. I mean, Wilson hasn't even asked for a trade yet. Look at how much Watson is banging the drum for a trade. And he still hasn't been moved. So, yeah. I mean, Brent, that's a very narrow narrow logic right there. Corey, welcome to membership team, buddy. Welcome to the membership squad. Thank you. Appreciate the support. I will shout you out in the next video I record, which won't be for a couple weeks, but still. Daniel, I don't think he's going to get traded right now. I mean, Brent, look at the Chiefs the year before. They won the Super Bowl with a high-flying offense and a pretty not good defense. That, yeah, you can find examples of teams with great defenses winning a Super Bowl, but you can also find examples of big offenses winning it. that Eagles team that won the Super Bowl. I mean, look at that Super Bowl that the Eagles won, by the way. The Patriots had like 500 yards of offense and still lost because the other team was even more effective on offense. Defense does not win championships. Offense does not win championships. Scoring more points than the other team wins championships. And there are many ways to do that. You could build a Super Bowl team with the running game. You could do it with your defense. You could do it with your passing game. You could do it with your special teams. There are many different ways to build an elite. Okay, Eagles had the best defense. Did you watch what they did in the Super Bowl? That was one of the worst defensive showings in the history of the Super Bowl, and the Eagles still won the game. So the reality is, to say defense wins championships or offense wins championships, I think you're missing the bigger point. Scoring more points than the other team wins championships. And there are many ways to do that. You can do it by having a dominant running game, a dominant passing game, dominant pass rush, dominant secondary, dominant whatever. There are many ways to do it. And often you will see that no two championship teams look alike. Yeah, David, I'm a little more on board with Gerald Everett, but Jonnu is obviously good. I expect this team to find cool ways to create cap space. I do. But there is a limit. There is a limit to what they can do. So we do have to be picky choosy. And if you guys have been watching my streams the last week, you know where I fall on this. The free agents that I want to bring in that I've discussed so far are Jamal Williams, Gerald Everett, and Brandon Scherf. Brandon, I think KJ's gone. Yeah, I mean, yeah, Brent, admittedly, look, if it wasn't for the $40 million in dead cap, I would be like, okay, let's get Wilson out of here. Let's try something different. But that dead cap makes it a pain in the ass. Because, again, you can't tank in 2021. If we could trade Wilson and start, Geno Smith for a year and go for the number one pick, that's a little more appealing. But now you're like, we have to trade Wilson, eat $40 million, and compete next year because we have no pick. It sucks. Consumer 114. It depends on what we do after Russ hypothetically leaves. If we get another really good quarterback, then no. If we re-sign KJ, then I will know for a fact that this team doesn't get it, and desperately needs to be removed from power. Larry Bird, I would probably say left guard, center, tight end. We have enough defensive ends. I don't care about defensive end. We have enough corners if we keep Quentin Dunbar, if we don't, who cares that much about corner? Just get a pass rush going. Ghost, I don't know why he wants to go to the Saints. They have no money. That team is doomed. If Wilson goes to the Saints, he's going to get his ass kicked in every game because he has no offensive line. And it's ridiculous that he doesn't. I think it's really weird that he doesn't realize that. Austin, everybody's out of shape right now. The season ended a month ago. Like, you ever see NBA players in the offseason? They get so chunky and then they play themselves into shape in the first month of the season. But look, I definitely find myself more annoyed with Wilson than I've ever been right now. I still don't think it's a good idea to move on from him right now. I don't think that makes sense for a lot of reasons. I think the only move you can make is just do a couple things this offseason to make him happy and go into 2021 with him and then go from there. I just don't see a trade manifesting itself that makes sense. I don't see any offer out there being worth our time. Larry, probably something like 18 mil a year. He threw more than that, James. But yeah, you know, I did have a little bit of a reality check moment when I heard that Wilson did give the team a list of teams he would like to get traded to. I did kind of go like, wow, okay, this is real, I guess. I still just don't think it's going to happen. I'm really frustrated that we can't just make it an easy solution of let's fire Pete Carroll because he just got extended. You can't really do that. I understand. I also, by the way, who do you hire if you fire Pete? Because I've been thinking about that lately and I don't have a good answer. I don't have a good answer. It's like you can't promote Waldron. He's not ready. He needs a couple years as a coordinator before he can become a head coach. Can you go get Bieniemy? Probably not. Oh yeah, consumer. He's going to be very expensive. Top of the market for a receiver. I'll worry about that when it's time to worry about it, though. Lincoln Riley, I guess you could offer him $200 million or something. Not terrible. Who else is out there? Yeah, Dave Canales would be worse than Waldron, probably. Like, who wants to get excited about that? Bieniemy's not going to. Bieniemy's already basically put his feet in the ground in Kansas City. He's not leaving. I mean, how is this not obvious? He would be a head coach somewhere right now if he was willing to leave Kansas City. Byron Leftwich? Doug Peterson's taking a year off. Brian DeBole from the Bills. That's actually a good one. That's actually the best suggestion I've heard. Well, James, 2021 is either going to be the last year we have Lockett or the first year we don't have Lockett. Lockett has one more year in Seattle at best, I think. We need to move Lockett and find somebody else who can fill that gap, either this offseason or next offseason. It could be Freddie Swain. It could be David Moore, but I feel like he's kind of capped out. It could be somebody else. Aaron Fuller. I like Aaron Fuller. Yeah, Brian DeBole. That's a good one. That is a good one. But again, we're not going to fire Pete. We're just not. We're just not. Oh, Corey, I think he is. But are we going to get there? Are we going to get to the point where he can manifest himself into something good? No, BAM season. I don't have a problem with Wilson doing any of that stuff. I don't. And I don't think it's what's making him play bad. I think that I just think it's very obnoxious And I mean, maybe there's somebody out there who won't agree with me, but you got to admit, it gets on your nerves to see him go out there and suck and play bad and cost us games and cost us chances to win. And then he's out there doing his stupid podcast. Are there other NFL players who are active right now who have their own podcast, and he's out there doing this and that? Like, it just gets on your nerves. That's my kind of my take on it. I'm not saying that's why he's playing bad. I'm not in a position to say that. But I can say that it's very, very annoying. I mean, I don't really care what Wilson does off the field as long as he performs on it. For the most part, I mean, I don't really want to see him get involved in some, hood rat stuff, if you know what I mean. Of course, I don't want him, going out there knocking up women or anything, but you guys know what I'm talking about. I'm not holding, he has a right to do stuff on his personal life. Larry Bird, thoughts on Kenny Golladay? I think he's going to be too expensive. He's good, obviously. He's a very good player, but I don't think we can afford him. If Russ leaves the Seahawks, what do you think? Well, that's impossible to answer. I can't answer that because I don't know what we get. Do we get Derek Carr or do we start Geno Smith? All right. I think we've kind of said all that we can say about Wilson. At this point, we can just kind of discuss the same points over and over again, and nobody's got time for that. So I'm going to let this stream go for another 12 minutes, and I'm going to say again, we got about 50 people in here. Thank you for coming out. If you haven't liked the stream yet, please do so. Click the subscribe button if you want daily Seahawks content. Become a member by clicking the join button down below. And yeah, that's how you can support the channel. But anyway, yeah. That's how I feel, guys. I'm annoyed. There is a certain aspect of all this of Wilson wants to get paid like a superstar, like he's a top 3 player in the league. And then he's not okay with the responsibilities of being a top 3 paid player in the league. Hold on. If you're going to get paid like that, you need to be okay with carrying the team every single game. It's like I've used this example before, but Jermaine O'Neal signed a max contract with the Pacers way back in the day when he was really young. And then he started complaining about how I want better teammates. I don't want to carry the team every night. And if you look at it, it's like, well, if you're going to take the max contract, then why don't you carry the team every night? You should carry the team every night. Heavy lays the crown. Vince Carter, same thing. He did the exact same thing in Toronto. Consumer, I will be on Windows 10 when I get my next PC up and running in a few weeks. I will have Windows 10. Okay. So anyway, if Wilson wants to get paid like that, that's fine. And I'm not asking him to give any of that money back. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with him deciding to be one of those guys who just wants to get paid max money. Most of them are like that. There's nothing wrong with that. And his contract is not making it impossible for us to build around him. It's making it harder, but there are plenty of other teams that overcome that all the time. However, when he takes all that money and then he's acting like this as if none of it's on him, I don't like that. I don't like it. I don't like him giving the team a list of teams he wants to get traded to and then being like, oh, I don't want to get traded, but Like that's horse crap. That's horse manure. Manure. I'm hoping that in the coming weeks he restructures his contract, because if he's demanding more help and then is not willing to restructure and kick some money down the road, then I don't know. I don't know what to say about that, other than that's a very, very, very blatant misunderstanding of the way the NFL works. So, yeah. I think that really says it all about Wilson. I want to encourage my viewers to hold tight right now. I do. I think that in all likelihood, we're just looking at a situation where there's going to be a little bit of drama, but ultimately nothing big is going to come of it. Hopefully what comes of it, quote unquote, is we splurge a little bit in free agency and we get some AAA players in here. Scherf, Thuney, Jonnu Smith, Corey Linsley, whoever you like, whatever. Helio Z, the more I think about it, the more I don't. I just don't think the right offer is there. I don't think the right offer is going to be there. We'd have to give up too much, and we'd be punting on 2 seasons, basically. It's almost like we'd be punting on 2 seasons. I don't want to do that. I'd much rather roll the dice with Wilson for 1 more year than deal with that. There's no tanking in 2021, guys. We have to win as many games as we can. All right. 7 minutes left in this stream, and then I'm going to get out of here. 7 minutes, and I'm going to go. If you want to donate some money to the graphics card purchase fundraiser, I would appreciate that. You have no idea how freaking hard it is to get a 3080, folks. Even if I've reduced my standard to a 3070, I'm still going to freaking blow my brains out trying to find this thing. Freaking unicorn wearing diapers. May as well. I do not have VR yet, consumer. I will. Ryguy, because we don't have an owner who's willing to do that. Well, Helio Z, that's the problem. There is no realistic ideal trade deal for Russ, because there's no way we can get good value. Brent, mostly because of Bitcoin. Mostly because of Bitcoin, graphics cards cannot be purchased. There's also the problem of COVID, because manufacturers are not able to make as many as they used to, because they can't, I guess they can't fill the factories the way they used to. So the drops are rare, and when they come, they sell out very fast. Giacomo, that would be ideal. Yeah, that would be that would be the dream, but it's so hard to come up with a 3-team trade that makes sense for all parties. And also, by the way, Wilson will never agree to go to Houston. Wilson doesn't want to go to Houston. That is an inept franchise. Right, guy, that's not a bad idea. Rip, welcome, buddy. How you doing, man? Oh, yeah, consumer. I love the Half-Life franchise. Yeah, I mean, well, Michael, when Top Billin says draft picks, I'm assuming he means a shit ton of draft picks, because Carr is whatever, and Darren Waller's good, but you're going to need a lot more than that. I'm doing all right, Rip. The stream's not going to go for that much longer, Rip, but we're just talking about the Wilson stuff. Yeah, David, I completely agree with that, and that's one reason why I don't think this is going to happen, but it doesn't make it impossible. You know, I think I remember the Heat The last year the Heat had LeBron, there was one player that LeBron really wanted the Heat to draft. I can't remember his name. He was the point guard. And so the Heat drafted him, and LeBron left anyway. So they were like, wow, thanks, dude. We drafted this dude only because you wanted him, and now you're gone. It's like, thanks a lot, Dick. Stuff like that happens. Hopefully somebody in the chat remembers which player I'm talking about, because I can't. Napier? Okay, yeah, there we go. Thank you, Larry Bird. Was he good, by the way? He wasn't very good, was he? Shabazz Napier? Yeah, okay, there we go. Shabazz. I don't know if Shabazz was ever any good, but I don't think he was. Hey, Avery. Hey, James. Hey, William Harding. But yeah, so... yeah, Apex, that's a big reason why I just don't see it. If there was a team that could offer us enough to compensate us for Wilson and the money, then okay, I would do it. All these players are just assets. All these players are just assets, as far as I'm concerned. But Wilson is a very good asset. I don't want to give him away. Yacomo, I might. Yeah, Rip. I don't know why he wants to go to the Saints, though. They don't have any money. Yeah, Michael, I don't think it's going to happen this offseason. I just don't. I mean, it would just handicap the Seahawks too much. And this is a year when we can't be handicapped because we don't have a pick. Not really, William. We can do better. We can do better. I mean, you got to throw some players in there too. Honestly, if you want to trade for Wilson, you got to give us a good quarterback back, because a good quarterback at least allows us to compete in 2021, which we need to do because we have no first round pick. Well, yeah, Larry, you do, but you might also get a really good year out of him and decide, hey, this works, let's keep him. And then you've got a franchise QB for the next 5+ years. Ooh. All right. Yeah, that's not bad, Michael. I would like a little bit more, but that's not bad. Yeah, but Wilson didn't want to go to Miami, so he probably wouldn't okay that. The thing is Wilson going to be okay with like the Vegas Raiders getting rid of Waller? Like, is he going to be like, no, I want to play with Waller? You know, this is where trades become hard. Okay. Less than a minute left in the stream. Once again, I want to thank everybody for coming out tonight. We went for an hour on Wilson. I don't think it's going to be useful to keep going on it because we're just kind of hitting the same points now. For my money, I don't want to trade him, and I don't think we will. I don't think there's any deal that makes sense. I don't think there's any way that a team can give us enough value for him. And I think the most likely scenario is we just roll into the season next year with everyone being a little unhappy, and we see where it goes. But that would be my guess. Thank you, everybody, for coming out. We got a lot of different interesting takes, but I can see it many ways now. And to anybody out there who thinks it's impossible for us to trade Wilson, I think you're fooling yourself, because he gave the theory a lot of legitimacy when he gave the team a list of locations he'd like to go. So you have to take it seriously. I just still don't think it's going to happen. All right. Thank you for coming out tonight, guys. I appreciate it. We'll see what happens, man. By the way, I'm going to be furious if the Seahawks trade Wilson and I don't have my new computer built and ready to go. I'm going to be furious because I can't make good videos right now. I didn't upload a video today specifically because it would have been on my phone and it would have looked like shit. So if he gets traded before I build my computer, I'm going to be furious because I won't be able to make good videos about it. Brent McKinney, thank you for the $5. So yeah, if the Seahawks trade Wilson, wait a couple weeks so I can at least make good videos about it. Oh, and by the way, make sure you get good value too. Make sure you get good value too. All right. Peace out, Go Hawks. See you guys. See you guys tomorrow. See you guys tomorrow. There will be a video tomorrow. There will be a stream tomorrow. Back to regularly scheduled stuff. We're going to move on from the Wilson thing starting tomorrow. We're going to move on from it starting tomorrow. Because at this point, not much else to talk about. See y'all later. Go Hawks. Boom.